includes a diverse set of activists and nonprofits working to end the prohibition of marijuana. We take the time to hear the stories of reform on the Russ Belville Show's Cannabis Community Chat.
All right, welcome back, everybody. 31 after the hour. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, I am live here at the Lax Lounge in Tempe, Arizona. Hey, guys, make some noise. Let them know you're real. Yay, we're here at the Lax Lounge. So this is like legitimately a real cannabis community chat. So I'm just hanging out here with a bunch of patients, and they got a TV on here. They're showing, is this Jackass 1, 2, or 3 that we're watching? 2.5. Oh, see, that's how out of touch I am, man. So we're watching Jackass 2.5. Good stuff here, and just hanging out with the crew. I got to meet, and I don't know how much anybody wants to be identified, but we're only on audio, so nobody can see you as to what's going on. Johnny's cool, right? All right, Johnny Roor's here. We'll give him a mic first here. Johnny and I met last night. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm good, Russ. How you doing?
Thanks to you, I'm fantastic.
Well, thanks for having us be a part of the show.
We were talking last night about how Arizona's kind of got this parallel system going on where there's like, people that register and go to the state dispensaries, and then there's the other side. Tell the audience, what we were talking about last night as far as that difference.
Well, as far as the state regulated dispensaries go, they have a system installed online where you can go check for patient identification.
Right.
You make sure that that patient's legal and they actually have their card and everything is legal.
Right.
They report what you purchase through online. So every 2 weeks you can only have, or every 2 weeks. Yeah, it's 2.5 ounces that you can have.
Similar to what they put in the they put that just in the Illinois bill too. So this is happening in other states.
Yes, but there's also there's the patient to patient that you can do as long as you don't receive any reimbursement.
Right.
We are legally allowed to give each other medicine.
Right.
And since you're out of state and we accept out of state recs, I can legally give you medicine.
And Arizona's one of the few states that does that too, that has reciprocity.
We're pretty lucky as long as that.
So is the 2.5 ounce limit, is that even if you're not, if you're going patient to patient, does that apply?
It does, but there's no way they can really track it.
Because there's no database to track it.
Exactly.
The other major difference you're telling me is just one of economics. It's like expensive at these state places.
Yes, because they spend all the money to go out and do the research, and they fly their crew out to California, and they fly them out to Colorado to check out those dispensaries, and they spend all the money to put them up in hotels, and I'm sure they fly nice, and they're not staying at Motel 6s, and all the patients have to pay for that cost.
And what's the cost per year?
$70 an eighth is the going rate for good flowers.
Wow.
Yeah, and they grow it all themselves, so that they're not paying for it. They're not taking taxes on it. They're taking the tax from the state, but
sure,
it's pretty cheap for them to produce it. Yet they charge an arm and a leg to patients who are really sick, most of them who don't have, who can't work normal jobs and who can't supply or can't afford that kind of expensive medicine.
Yeah. One of the things that our opponents do all the time is they want to characterize medical marijuana, and they'll say, the average medical marijuana patient in California is a 32-year-old white male. And I don't know why white makes any difference, but there's a 32-year-old white male with a history of cocaine and meth and blah, blah. They make all these, stereotypes. And I'm looking around the room here, and I'm probably the oldest guy in the room. I'm not sure. I'm 45, but I may be the oldest guy in the room. So what is it about medical marijuana that seems to be, more young people using it? In your mind?
Well, half of them, it's a way around the legal system, of course.
Yeah. Not
to worry about ending up in jail for enjoying, something that's naturally grown from the ground.
Sure.
And it's just safe,
Right.
It's peace of mind, and everybody uses it for medicinal reason, whether it's recognized by the state or not. It's very preventative, and everything that goes along with it. So
is it, do you think more older people would use it if it didn't have so much stereotype and stigma associated with it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely going more mainstream,
Yeah.
And it's okay in the sense that everybody, old timers just smoked weed, but now you have oils coming into the game.
Yeah.
And things are getting a lot more complicated and unsafe as if people aren't doing things properly.
How does Arizona look at concentrates, oils, hash? Does it distinguish in the law? Do you know?
It's written into the law that it's legal as it's used for edibles.
Oh. So
there's really no way they can prove that you're not going to use it for edibles. So
eventually.
Yeah, eventually, of course. I research that once a month to make sure they don't change that. But as far as Arizona goes, yeah, you're legally allowed to have oils and concentrates and all those goodies that go along with it.
Now, I know Arizona, and I reported on this when it was being debated, and I kind of challenged MPP on this, but you've got the 25-mile halo rule. You can't grow if you're within 25 miles of dispensary. How's that affected, your community?
As far as patients go, if you had your card before they enacted that rule,
yeah,
you were grandfathered in until your card had to be renewed.
Right.
So until everybody had to renew, nobody really had a problem with it because everybody could still have their plan.
Then all of a sudden, cards start tripping. You're like, oh, wait a minute,
year comes up
this sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So you find patients will move out of the 25-mile radius just to keep their grow. I mean, the way that the law works, though, too, is the caregiver can be within the 25-mile radius, and they can legally grow for their patient, but the patient has to be outside of that 25-mile boundary. So if you want to drive up to North Arizona and find a bunch of patients who don't grow their own stuff and are willing to just give you their rights to grow, you can grow right next door to the dispensary, but that's not very likely.
So, okay. One of the things that I follow all these states and all these laws, and I find all these unintended consequences, right? So what were they trying to do with 25-mile halo? I have no idea what their purpose of it was, but maybe it was to stop the proliferation of grows in urban areas. But what you just described to me is a mass exodus of patients to the suburbs and the outlying, the hinterlands and the desert, and it's 110 out there.
Yeah.
And then growers still being able to grow in the city limits if they got the patient recs.
Exactly.
So what good did that do?
Nothing.
Oh my God. All right. So anything else in the Arizona program, since we're just chatting here, that's just like, that's just nuts?
The accepting out-of-state recs, I hear, is pretty. It's
rare.
Pretty rare. Most people, when they come to town, don't know that.
Yeah.
Don't know that that's okay. If you have your rec in any other state, it's valid here. As long as you're not here for more than 2 weeks, which makes you a resident, then you're good. So
I know it seems so odd in medical marijuana laws. I'm from Portland, Oregon. Yeah. Right across the border is Vancouver, Washington. And so, there's this Glen Jackson Bridge near the 205. And if I'm a patient standing here, I'm cool. And if he's a patient there, he's cool. But if he crosses the bridge and I cross the bridge, we're criminals.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And we have the same list of conditions for the most part. And in most cases, these clinics are even employing the same doctors that can write for both states.
Exactly. But
no, you gotta pay on both sides.
And then the really sad thing is Arizona is really well known for snowbirds. Everybody comes here in the winter because it's cool, but it's not freezing. And what happens is a lot of people come down from Colorado, or they come down from Washington and stuff, and they have their medical card out there.
Sure.
And they'll medicate back home, and they come to Arizona, and they get pulled over, and they get their blood taken. Even though they haven't medicated in Arizona, it's obviously still in their blood, and they're not a medical patient, so they automatically go to jail.
So this gets into the DUI thing. So while Arizona recognizes other states' recommendations for the purposes of not busting them for weed, now what's Arizona's DUI as far as patients go?
There's no specific nanogram limit, but you can get a DUI for having it in your system, but they can't.
In this active THC we're talking about?
Yes, active. But they can't bust you on just THC alone. They do have to have a substantial amount in your system.
Is that the same for non-patients? Is that just a general law, or is there an exception for patients?
Non-patients in Arizona, if you get caught with a seed or a stem in your car, you go straight to jail.
Wow.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Whew.
Yeah, that's a no tolerance state. We're very lucky that Joe Arpaio hasn't gone nuts on us for the medical marijuana. We've been very fortunate.
Yeah. So we are in Sheriff Joe's domain.
Sir, we are.
You know, I think I'm illegal under Sheriff Joe's. Just my blood itself is probably. I probably clip my toenails, and there's some controlled substance. I'm going to jail. Wow. We are. By the way, folks, we're here at Lax Lounge. Is there any website or contact? Do you guys want people to know or to get in touch with you guys?
Lax Lounge at the Instagram, Lax Lounge, Facebook, Lax Lounge, Vapor Club, Lax Lounge, Vapor Club.
When I first saw it, since I fly through California all the time, I'm like LAX Lounge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you got to have like the platinum card to get into that. Man. This is the much better lounge. I've been to those airport lounges. They don't let you smoke weed.
Yeah.
What the hell? What credit limit do I have to be able to smoke weed in this damn place? All right.
The Lax Lounge is also no cover. Come and enjoy your medicine. Bring in your own, your own devices to enjoy your medicine with. Hang out with your buddies.
And welcoming to patients from any state.
Yes, sir.
As I can
exactly.
attest.
As long as we can verify your rec, we're
awesome.
good to go.
All right. Well, this is Lax Lounge. We are in Tempe, Arizona. We are inside where it's cool and humans can actually live. And when we come back, we're going to have a little bit of time for a radical rant. I've got a story out of Montana that is just the ratio of reefer madness to words per paragraph is just incredible. I don't even know if 15 minutes will be enough time to debunk it. So we will take a shot at this. And you should check out the comments on this page. I will get it posted on the blog here pretty soon, but it's pretty amazing. There's some hardcore drug prohibitionists up there in Montana in the replies. Interesting how they can't have a reply without calling you a name, though. They got to say stoner or pothead. They got to call you names. But when we come back, we'll get to that. You're listening to the Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We're live in Arizona.